Hi guys, I'm Uncle Richie.
Yo, what up? J Money's back.
And this is CTEN. And you're listening to the Uncles podcast.
Let's go. We're back. Season 2, episode 7. Chucky, how are you, bro? I haven't seen you in a while.
J Money. It's been a long time. Definitely. I think this is the first time we've met up since
Last year.
Yeah. Bro. a lot of change.
How are you, bro? Good?
Good, brother. Good as always. And yourself?
Yeah, bro, good. Work's been busy, but, getting it. Bro, I can't believe it's already February.
Bro, already February. Getting into the swing of things.
Yeah.
Obviously, work started last month, so I think this is first quarter.
Q1, yeah.
Q1, halfway. Getting there.
Ticking the boxes.
Trying to.
Bro, what's been happening? How's everything? Your personal life? Anything
Bro, yes.
news?
Definitely. As of November, I became a dad, so.
So we're officially uncles.
Uncles and one pupsy. Uncles, definitely. Oh, bro, it's been awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely. Really, big eye opener. It's just been incredible. I'll start from obviously, before leading up to becoming a dad. Myself and my partner, trying to find our own space.
Yeah.
We talked about that last year. I think I kept that under wraps pretty well.
Yeah.
And then obviously ran into J Money, and then J Money found out, and then Richie found out as well. So now that was good. It was good. Really good to just focus and sort of have some time to think. Think ahead a little bit better than before. But yeah, it's always I thought I knew what the challenge was, but when it happened, it was eye-opening. And I think you brought Jetty on. Jetty's a couple of months away now from experiencing it, but yeah, it's you think but when it happens, it's so different. And I think it's different for everyone. I only speak for myself, but where to start? I think it was when we were in the hospital, those first moments, and hearing the baby cry, bro. I don't want to get too emotional, but yeah, that was pretty eye opening. That was I feel I haven't been the same since. Just that feeling. It was I think a feeling of love, really.
I just wanted to touch on a little bit. You had. Obviously, it's a 9-month process, and we know that. And when you first found out, what was that feeling like for yourself? I just wanted to touch base on that. Was it obviously you want to make sure that you're ready to have a child, and that's a big responsibility to take on to as well. And so just wanted to understand how that feeling was for yourself, and how that process was like.
Well, honestly, there's once you and again, I speak for myself. There's no turning back. There's no, it's all in, all in. You got to go all in.
Yeah.
And when you go all in, it's focus, big focus. I feel I've really surprised myself in the last 12 months. From when I found out we were gonna have a nice baby girl.
Yes.
Big responsibilities on your shoulders, a lot of nerves, but with a lot of family support, a lot of love from the family, and just a lot of support. I can't stress how much how important it is to have support, have a good sort of
community. It takes a community to raise a child. Yeah.
I was just about to say
a village.
100%. Yeah. It takes a village to raise a child, and I saw my brother go through it, and him and his partner do so well with taking care of their kids now. So a lot of learning from there, and I try to follow through with that. And obviously, I've got some great friends that are parents, Callum, Matt, And these are all people that became dads like in the last 5 years, 10 years. So yeah, a lot of responsibility, but yeah, all in.
Yes.
You definitely find. I feel like you find your like, you don't have just like 6 gears. You have like 7, 8, 9, 10. Because like sometimes you're asleep, you're really tired, and then you like, you just, when you hear the baby cry, like you got to wake up. It doesn't matter. You got work. If you got responsibilities the next day, like you got to be there for your child because your parents were there for you. Like you start seeing. I think you see a lot. I feel like a lot of respect. Like you understand your parents and what they go through, or what your caretakers went through when you were that age, and it's definitely eye-opening. And I spoke to my uncle like with my mum, and he's back in Mosby. Grew up in the village, and been in Mosby, like, and then I was like, like this is happening. All he said, he's a man of few words. He's like, it's like that. Just gotta deal with it.
Yeah.
But and it's been great. Like, it's very, very challenging, but rewarding in that sense. And you see a little bit of yourself every day. And, like I think for me the biggest thing. And also I experienced like, I think myself and my partner Claire, we've become like really close and solid. Like, because your love for your partner grows, and that's happened to me. And I think Jetty touched on it as well. Like, that kind of solidifying the love for your kid, or I think I don't know. I'm probably making shit up, but
I think that's also a good point, because the upbringing that you have also plays a big role in how you raise a child, because you would have seen from and I'm not a parent in any way, so I can't really speak for that on my own personal experience, but seeing that with relatives and the upbringing that coming from a good family, you want to give that to your kids. And we hear so much about, the big responsibility that you take on for bringing someone into this world. You want to give them the best you can, and what you talked about with support, such a big thing to have. And I guess wanted to touch base on that too as well. What's sort of the biggest thing that you've learned since having a baby? And you touched on about having different gears and things like that. But for anything to call out in particular around, the biggest lesson, that eye-opening thing that you've seen?
I reckon the first, it's only been 3 months. But the key thing is getting a routine down. So a lot of people spoke about this, and if Jed's listening to this, Jeddy, routine, brother, routine. Get the routine down right. And I got advice from, I get advice from my brother, my friends, Cal and Matt. Like I said, just routine. Just finding that routine. Your kid, at first, your kid's gonna like, you think like, this is just like the cutest thing in the world, just a baby, like mindless baby, just crying. But then, like, you start seeing the baby's personality come through, smiling when you get home after work. That kicks like all the shit off work, man. Like, literally coming home, and I'm looking forward to when I come home and I get that big hug from a little girl. So, that's what I've been up to.
That's so good. And I think that's the biggest thing too as well. Like we get so caught up in life and we worry about the little things, but the perspective that having a child, and like hearing what you talk about, it like going home and forgetting about everything else that's happened, and just realizing that you've got someone that you're looking after now, you're shaping their future, you're nurturing them, and you're giving them the guidance that they need to be the best person that they can be. God, I'm sounding like I'm a parent. He's ready. He's ready. But I think I'm just speaking from seeing how other people, particularly my brother, and how he's raised his kids up, and like I think that's the biggest thing too as well is perspective. Hey, that's a big thing too as well.
Exactly. And planning ahead. Planning ahead is, geez, I used to plan like next week. Like, I thought that was a big plan ahead. Big time to plan ahead, but you got to plan years now. And I think we always talk about this, but just setting goals and that. So got a couple of goals set that it's a must do. And then obviously aim as much as you can towards those goals. And then if you don't make it, like at least you're somewhere near that. So it's there's nothing I don't know, man. It's different for everyone, but I think as you said, like striving to be the best version of yourself, so that can be emulated to your little one, and I think also like being there for your partner is probably a big thing as well, because we as guys and men, like you want to provide in that sense where you're like, I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna do this, all the physical aspects, all the carry this, carry that, and that's great, that's awesome, but you gotta also remember you're also a partner, you're also a husband, you're also a man for a woman, and having that time where if your kid's crying and like that, like if your kid's crying and your partner's stressed, like you got to go and help out. And I think I'm learning, I'm going through that at the moment, and just trying to be there for your family.
No, that's a big 3 months, man. Well, bro, we'll have to catch up on Father's Day when that comes around, and Mother's Day and then touch back on how the journey's been. But thank you for sharing that, bro. That's really insightful, and good to catch up.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into this episode. If you're liking this content, please subscribe or give us a like. Next up, we got part 2 of episode 3.
We're back,
and we've got some interesting topics to speak about tonight. I mean, obviously, we're a PNG podcast based in Brisbane, and we want to, discuss some of the topics or something that's quite relevant in our communities at the moment. And we thought this is quite a bit going on with the VONC, vote of no confidence, and a few issues around the place. So we thought we would discuss that. But I thought I'd bring this first one to light. So I got this from a credible source, ABC News, Australian Federal Police and other agencies intercepted a drug flight, I think it was last year, from Papua New Guinea, seizing 500 kilograms of methamphetamine, which they say is worth more than $375 million. I believe 5 guys were arrested. There was 2 pilots, someone who got the pilots in Bundaberg or something, and 2 other guys that were on the border of New South Wales, which they arrested. And we'll put the link up to the story. But guys, it's really alarming. Just to hear that. That drugs have been smuggled from PNG into Australia, which surprisingly I've heard for quite some time now. So, I mean, J Money, what's your thoughts on that?
Because if you look at we're Australia's closest neighbour. You can walk across from the top of Australia to PNG. If it's low tide, it's only about 142 kilometers or something like that. So quite small in terms of distance-wise. And I think because with PNG and the amount of policing and authority that goes into drugs, and because there's not enough resources for us to monitor these things, it's hard for us to keep a close eye on this unless supported by the AFP and the agencies down in Australia, which was what has happened, and lucky they were able to get the amount of catch the people that were in the wrong there. But I think the impact that has on PNG is substantial in the way that already there's issues with social stuff that's happening in POM, and to have drugs overlaid as another thing that they're using that as a canal to smuggle drugs in. You never know how much of that's actually kind of going through the people too as well, if that doesn't make its way down to Australia, and for it to even get through our authorities. And then I think because they got picked up at Townsville from the article that we read up, so that for that flight to even leave POM, that also shows how much of what's not being done in PNG correctly for them to, I wouldn't say correctly, but the amount of resources available for the police to, because we already have so much that's there, and this is another layer of that too as well, contributes. and impact society more. So yeah, I feel like that's probably the biggest impact, is that we already have issues that are facing the country through, poverty, education isn't the greatest, and we know that through the podcast. To have another impact of drug smuggling through that,
it's very alarming, and CTEN, I'll pose this question to you, but as J Money said, this is another article from the ABC. They mentioned drug smugglers in Papua New Guinea are increasingly using the Torres Strait, which is what J Money said, trafficking ice, cocaine, and there's lots of fears that they're exploiting a security sort of loophole that was created by the pandemic. But I wanted to pose this question to you, what sort of effects do you, J Money's brought it up then, but what effects would this have on little villages along the Daru coastline? Apparently one of those flights came out of Marape as well. So they're leaving from villages, not main sort of cities or towns. What effects do you think this has on little communities, our beautiful little communities?
Well, honestly, I think J Money touched on that already. It's a big social issue. There's already issues going on in Papua New Guinea. We know people don't really earn a proper wage to, and that's not just down to the government. Obviously, there's resources. There's big sort of, I guess people need to start just being more mindful. I think there needs to be a little bit more. Here I am giving recommendations, and I'm sitting in Australia, in Brisbane, but yeah, I don't want to sound too sort of correct by the book, but there just needs to be awareness. You got to be really careful with, or not careful, but the way you handle that sort of awareness and giving it out into communities, where you got to really explain to these people or our people that this is something that's basically going to destroy your life. This is something that's going to affect communities, completely ruin children, and coming up and having role models, or who are their role models. And if local people in the villages are getting involved in the smuggling, there's only a little kid can only just look up to someone who's getting involved in that and say, oh yeah, he's getting a quick buck, or he's working, or something like that. And, get involved in that, and then again we'll start seeing kids get involved in that. Who knows? Maybe there's kids involved already, but I think it's the biggest threat is to the youth, and the youth are the future. So, I think we've seen it all around the world, really. We've seen it in South America. There's movies about this. There's always awareness going around, but to have it right on our doorstep, that's crazy. And I never, I always thought that was an overseas thing. It's coming on ships to Australia somehow, but it's coming through Papua New Guinea. That scares me a lot. And going back to your question, sorry, Richie. I think the children are the ones at risk here, and that will obviously lead into communities. The minorities that they say minorities usually basically resort to alcohol, there's marijuana, going through. I think everyone's villages are along the coast. There's marijuana being sold there, but these hard drugs are there to destroy life. There's nothing positive about these amphetamines. There's, the trail it leaves from when it's made, wherever that's made. I think I saw an article that Max Zaddy actually posted up. It leaves South America and it comes all the way to Australia through Papua New Guinea. That's already causing a lot of death there, and then it comes through Papua New Guinea. Touch wood, we don't start seeing those kind of organized crime and that kind of death toll happen in Papua New Guinea. So in a roundabout way, gonna really fuck us in now. So
yeah, it's definitely not something that is good for any sort of community, not just PNG. I mean, everywhere around the world. And back to your point, you watch shows or watch movies, but you never think it's happening back home. Until after COVID and more light has been, shone on these people that have gotten caught with the drugs, and it's funny because these aren't Papua New Guineans themselves. These are Aussies that flew over and got caught in Australia. The high-profile Papua New Guinea businesswoman. She's not even a Papua New Guinean. I know from reading the article, she somehow gained her citizenship in Ley through some fraudulent activity. She got her papers and then was not only a high-profile businesswoman, but was slinging on the side as well, which is not good for PNG and also for the community here in Australia. But I guess a more pressing issue that has come up recently is the massacre that happened up in the Highlands, up in Enga, and lots of lives were taken, and it's just I still can't believe it that that many people died, lost their lives. I mean, I think the biggest question I thought about today after seeing that was where are these guys getting high-powered
machine guns?
Where are they getting ammunition and all of this from? So I mean, J Money.
A link somewhere.
There's got to be someone who's giving these people the guns and stuff. But look, J Money, what's your thoughts on that? And how did you feel when you saw that?
Yeah, because when I listen to the ABC podcast in the morning to work, and it just there's news segments that come up, and it's just little snippets and things like that. And there is an ABC correspondent that lives in PNG, and he went up to Enga last year and something, and he was reporting on the issue that was happening, and it kind of made me sad that a lot of PNG itself, we already know how much of the stuff that happened with the looting last year, and already have that, I guess, notion of bad publicity, I guess, or that spotlight already on the country, and for this to happen again, and for Western news to pick it up, it makes me because PNG is not like that. We're a nation of loving people, and one we say there's one people, one nation, one flag kind of thing, and that's when you hear things like that happen. Obviously, we understand that due to the nature of the province itself, there's a lot of tribal fightings, and up to 17 in the article it said up to 17 tribes that were fighting amongst themselves, and last year there was also up to 60 people that died collectively throughout the a certain amount of period. I can't remember what actual time frame it was, but even that, and plus the 49 people that were confirmed but not yet, it wasn't confirmed, sorry, but already 49 people already estimated to die from this. It just makes me think about that drug stuff now happening. There has to be a connection somewhere. And I read also that, or heard on the podcast this morning too as well, that David Mangin, who's the PNG Police Commissioner, said they are putting through some laws through Parliament right now, so that you can give police more power. In saying that, I think one of the laws that were getting passed through was more power for the police to actually shoot and kill, which isn't the right way to go about it. But I think that's probably the only way that's going to go in terms of calming the situation. Also, I feel too as well, with PNG, we see that this might be getting too in detail, but an eye for an eye ends up not saving the world, and it's hard for our people to kind of think about that when you see something happen to your tribe and your family, because it's such a community-based country. We live in whatever happens to your family, you feel that connection, and you have to do something about it, which is part of the reason why this has kind of started and got out of hand. But yeah, I do feel a huge level of sadness, and we do hope that it settles, and there's never going to be peace in the world, but just for it to be calm over the next couple of months, would be nice. But yeah, our thoughts are with those people that have gone through those things. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like three of us now, just shocked from hearing the news, and it was really tough for us to decide to talk about it and share it with our listeners, but we thought it would be relevant to say something about what's going on at the moment. But Chucky, how do you think PNG should sort of try and rebuild now, or shift the focus to what we're known as, the fun-loving sort of people who live off the land, and where can we try and position ourselves now? Because sadly, now the world knows that the looting that happened a month ago happened. There were lives lost. Lots of business houses were burnt down, and hundreds and thousands of people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
But where do you think PNG should go now, moving forward? Because you've got your mum and dad, live in Moresby. You've got lots of family in Lae, in Rabaul, J Money as well. You've got family in Moresby. So do I. So for our families, what would you like to see more of?
Yeah, that's a really good one. For our families, obviously, we want safety.
Yeah.
As J Money touched on, the looting, all that looting that happened last month. It all comes down, obviously, to the obvious, and I think we see the obvious all the time. It's in Waigani, in the house man. So there's a lot of talk that goes on. I see it. We always see, such and such head of state, or honourable member of this condemns condemns the violence, or just speaking about it and everything. But what are the actual actions put in place? And it probably goes back to the reporting that we see that comes out online, like your post Koreans and stuff. Not taking a dig again. I'm just saying my own thoughts, but instead of just talking about it, instead of just Prime Minister addressing the issue, do not do this. We urge the public to. Bro, you're urging people that what is an urging going to do to literally educate the bloody public that's actually going through some more hardships other than what just happened. There's a lot of awareness, and it's not a one sort of solution that fixes everything. I think you got to really dig deep, and that starts from obviously the decision makers in the country. That's the top, and it's finding ethical leaders that want to work for the people, and they're public servants. Public servants, it's in the name. You're serving the people, you're serving the public, and if you're just addressing and going and talking on your big loud hairline, on your big microphone, that I'm going to do this, okay, cool. Something happened. Yeah. We're talking about this, and you guys, we urge you, please. That's not going to do much. You got to be on the ground, walking the yards with these people. Stop spending time in Moresby and stuff, and go out to your little areas and see what the people actually want. And I'm sure they do that, but again, I just feel like there's not really much. There's not one answer to the whole solving the whole thing. There's levels to it. I think we know, without saying too much, there's corruption throughout. And I think it just, one thing that I feel like actually is looking forward though, we want younger, sort of, when our generation gets into power, we want people that have already sort of seen the good light go into power and start making the changes. And hopefully the people that are on top, say the next 20 to 30 years, hopefully they're the ones that are educated enough to make the right decisions and actually grasp or reach out to the communities that are in getting affected by the issues right now. Just to actually do some action, and it's the action. There's so much talk. Papua New Guinea, we like to talk a lot. We like to put the money where our mouth is, but the walk is, there's so much beating of our chest, like such and such did this for these people, or Port Moresby is developing because of this, or but what's actually being done? Why are there still issues? And we'll never solve, even in a first world nation, first world country. There's always issues, but come on, we see there's still stuff getting done. There's still reach out to the community, and we can sit here all night and just go through the million things that's wrong with our country. But I think that it all stems down to one, ethical thinking leaders, and actually think about what ethics, because ethics is a broad thing. Ethical leaders, what do they stand for? Do they want to help their people? Okay, cool. Bribery and stuff like that comes under it as well. But that's another thing. But we'll go back to just doing stuff for the community, walking the walk, walking the talk. And just providing for the ones that are in need. And it might just be, not even just
No, I think
Chucky's venting.
I do and at the end of the day, this is our opinion, and we're sharing it because we care about the country, and when Charles speaks from a place of care and where he's coming from, he's actually wanting the better of the country. I actually want to change the topic a bit and speak on a lighter note. Bro, I don't know if you guys, both of you, saw James Marape's address to the Australian Parliament. It was 32 minutes and 59 seconds long. I spent the time watching it.
Yeah.
And to Chucky's point about, walking the walk and, talking the talk, but also backing that up, the speech, bro, it was inspiring to hear him talk. But then that behind that facade, there's a vote of no confidence happening back home and posting it. So, but in that speech itself, he talked about, back in 1975 or early 70s when PNG was trying to push for their prime minister to become independent, and they spoke to the Labour Party prime minister then. His name was Golf Whitlam, and he also had a lot of connections with the First Nations people. Because there's a song called "From Little Things, Big Things Grow," and he was the prime minister that went and poured the sand through Vincent Lingari's hand when they had claimed I think it was up Northern Territory. But for PNG, he was very much progressive in the way of thinking, because he wanted PNG to become independent. And hearing that story through what Marape was saying was good to know about the culture. And back then, he also referenced in the speech that in the 50s, there was a guy from Highlands that came to the parliament in Australia, and he talked in the native tongue, and he said that 50 years from now, or a while from now, there will be someone from my province that will come down to parliament and speak to you guys in your language. And he said that in Pidgin, 50 odd years ago, or 60, 70 years ago. And then for Marape to go down and be the first Pacific Nation Prime Minister to address the Australian Parliament, it was really powerful. And if you listen to the speech, it was well written, articulated, but also a lot of political commentators are saying he has to go back and face the no confidence vote. But I think back to Charles's point about if you guys have a second, and we might put snippets of the thing up on the podcast, but so much history that he covered through that speech, which for myself was eye-opening to as well, and showing a light on things that we, coming from PNG, we don't really spend time listening and understanding how we became as a nation. But I know it was a bit off topic, but I just thought, it was just.
I think that's a great way to conclude this episode. Lots of points there. At the end of the day, we're just three fucking nobodies in
that want to get better at playing golf.
Playing golf, better at saving money. Getting fit.
Yeah, exactly. We're not qualified specialists at all, but I mean, we're putting ourselves out there. So, I mean, if you have anything to say, comment it below. Or like last week, Bryson and Jeremy from Gerru sent in their questions. If you've got any questions or topics you want us to speak about, send it through to us and we'll happily discuss them. But that's it from the nobodies.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
Over and out.